Hey, what's up? I'm Sarah Christie with iHeartRadio Canada here with Dean Lewis. How's it going?
Great. Yeah, thanks for having me.
How's tour going right now?
Oh, it's amazing. Like, Canada's the best place to tour. Like, we just did Montreal. Toronto's been great. The last one was here for the second show. Everything's been amazing. Incredible.
So in Montreal, I did see a video of you going out and hanging out with the fans and performing for them outside the venue. What do fans have to do to keep the show going outside afterwards?
Well, if the crowd's crazy, like really crazy, like Montreal, I usually go out and play. If it's like outrageous. Sometimes there's usually like 30 people out the back whenever I leave anyway, so I always go out and get photos with everyone. But just some shows, you feel better than others. If we have a day off the next day, you have more of a chance we're going to go out and sing for people. Sometimes if you got like 3 shows back to back, it can be a bit intense and you sort of can't do it. But always go out and get photos and stuff like that.
Do you have any pre-show routine? Especially because I do see a lot of videos from your shows that get quite emotional. So I wonder if there's any like calming routine you have before you hit the stage or when you go on tour.
I try to keep it routine, like at 8 o'clock, say I'm on at 9, at 8 I do my vocal warm-ups. I try to get off my phone for like an hour before, just really because it takes you out of the zone.
Yeah.
I look over my set list, think about what I'm gonna say, but I try not to think too much about the intricate details because it's when you were a kid and you had like a speech and it was like a 2-minute speech. And you were like terrified to do that in front of the class.
Yeah.
It's like you got to play for an hour and a half. It's a long time. And so I try not to, I'm just like, think of it as a big block. But I do a couple of things like that. Yeah.
Now, I know also when you're out on tour and traveling, we just talked about how you like going to, before we hit record, that you like going to coffee shops and, writing down your thoughts and doing that solo. Have you managed to hit up coffee shops as you're out on tour here, like around Canada?
Yeah. It's really whatever's close to the hotel and the venue, but like it's something I tell my fans to do. Like I just bring a notebook. I've been here for like 8 years, and I just write down and I get a coffee on my own and I write down like what I was worried about, where I am, what I'm going to do in the future. Try to get it just creates a bit of a life narrative. I know what's going on in my life and I know where I'm going and problems I work through them. So I tell my fans to do that, and it's something I do on the road all the time, and it's changed my life just doing that. So
I was so curious to ask when I learned this piece of information because Forrest Black joined you for the Sad Boy tour, right?
Yes.
Was it ever talked about that you both like going to coffee shops alone?
I don't even know that he did. No.
Yes.
Does he do that as well?
Did you both leave the hotel and then go to your separate coffee shops?
We were at different hotels. That's why we never noticed. No, I didn't know that he did that, but love Forrest.
Yeah.
I think he wrote the best love song of 2022, that If You Love Her.
Right.
Great song. No, I didn't know he did that. That's cool.
It would be hilarious if you both ended up
Just
in the same
next to him,
coffee
I'm like, what the hell is Forrest Black?
So these, when you're out there with your notebook, have any of those moments transpired into music for you?
Like things that I'm writing about?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. It's more just like not so much the writing thing, but I'll write like to-do lists of like what I need to, like today I need to approve a mix. The new mix came in for the next song. I've got to do that. I think I'm not really into manifesting stuff, but I have noticed the stuff that I write down, it's just my context to I think things start to come true a little bit because I know where I'm heading, what I mean? But yeah, not so much writing in the like songs and stuff like that. I kind of do that at other times, but yeah.
That sounds very grounding.
It's very grounding. Yeah.
And when we're talking about your music as a fan, when you listen to it, you go, wow, this guy is so emotionally articulate. And I'm wondering, does that vulnerability come naturally to you, or has it been, a series of these songwriters and producers who just are really able to pull it out of you?
Oh, no. Okay, well, there was a song I released called Half a Man where I say the lyric, how am I supposed to love you when I don't love who I am? And I remember when I wrote that, I was like, if I release this, like my friends are going to laugh at me. Like it's really vulnerable. This was very early on in my career. And so I started playing it and everyone loved it. And that was I realized, the more vulnerable you are, the more people connect to something. And so I always try to, whatever's happening in my life, it's like when you meet someone, like you're starting a relationship, if someone doesn't open up at all, like, if they don't tell you anything, their fears, or you can't connect with them.
Yeah.
It just feels really surface. So I think it's like that with music as well. And so now when I have something that is happening, like with, for instance, the song about my dad, How Do I Say Goodbye? I'm like, I need to write about this. And the more real, the better. You know what I mean? So I just do it.
I've always been curious too, if social media adds any additional pressure or, nudge in that direction because, we feel this connection to you as an artist. There's so much opportunity there to be called out as fake or to be seen as genuine. So if it's like, do you use it as motivation or is it additional pressure when you're writing?
No. I mean, no one could say it's fake because it's like so real for me. Like, I don't know. I don't really think about it. I just go, I write about things that are happening in my life. And to be honest, I really like my own songs. Like, I know it's kind of weird, but I do like, and then I hate them. Like, so I listen to them until I release it, and then I can't listen to it because it's out there in the world. All I'm focused on is writing the best songs I can write. And when I really like something, I'm like listening to it over and over again. And then I'm like, okay, well, how do I put this out to fans and stuff like that? Hopefully they like it. But this is the best that I can do in the moment. This is the song that I believe in. And then I move on. I don't think about any of that stuff. Just because I write from what's happening in my life. So it might be bad, but it's not fake.
It's real. It's real though.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So if we go back in time to like the beginning of your music career, I'm so curious about this timeline because you did an open mic night, but you also invested $10,000 of your own money, which is so scary to hear as an outsider for a producer. What happened first?
That's a great question. So I think it was even like maybe even a little bit more. I probably lied. It was probably like 15, and I had no money. I had this so weird tax bill. I was like so bad at my last job because I hated it, and I had to pay this. So I was in a bad position, but I basically was like, I'm going to give this a crack. I moved in with my nan to save money, and I just worked with this producer, and I did like 10 songs, and they were all awful apart from one, which was like, I had this song called I Want You Back, and it was like the best song I had at the time. And it opened some doors for me. It never really got released because it wasn't that great, but it just got people's attention. I got me a manager and stuff like that. I actually emailed 30 managers, no one replied. And then my best mate was on a boat and passed it on to my now manager who heard it. So thank God for that. But I was one of those people that was like, I needed everyone around me to say it was good. I was one of those people who was like, I am awesome at this. Because I think when you're starting out as an artist, you don't know if your voice is good. I don't even know how to sing properly back then because you don't know you learn over time how to use your voice. Like maybe the differences, the things that make you sound different are actually good. And your fears change. So now my fears aren't so much when I do a song. I'm not like, is my voice going to sound good? My fear is, does this feel like me? Does this, you start to evolve that. But yeah, I spent a lot of money back at the start. People, I mean, I think a lot of people do this and maybe you get taken advantage of a little bit because, there's a lot of people out there like, yeah, pay me and the songs are pretty average. But for me, luckily one of them worked out. So I'm glad I did it.
You went all in, and now here you are doing a series of sold-out shows in Ontario, doing a world tour. Yeah. Now on Instagram, though, you have been talking about what started as a new song, but now is that tabled because you have another new song that you're going to release eventually.
Oh, yes.
So wait, so first of all, the song that you were initially talking about, is that off the table? Like you're done with it?
This is so embarrassing, and my team hates me. So I'm like, I very much can feel, for whatever reason with me, like there's other artists, I feel like they're in there, like they're there. For me, I need to have a song that's working, or I feel like everything just fades away.
Oh no.
Because I was like, I need to have my next song. We got to start talking about it. Because I felt How Do I Say Goodbye starting to slowly kind of, it did its thing. It was huge. And so I announced this song. And then that week I wrote this song. It's like it's a duet, the next one that's coming out. So I've never done this before. I wrote this song with this incredible artist, and like all time, she's incredible. And then the song was so good that we were like, well, we got to put this out next. It's such a big opportunity to even have this person wanting to do this, and the song's so good. So we'd switch songs, and everyone on my team was like killing me because they're like, what are you doing? But they all agree it's the better song. So we're changing it now.
Okay, so you have been releasing hints on your Instagram about what the song might be about. I'm going to read some of the hints that your fans have guessed, and you can tell me, like, are we warm or cold? Yeah. Okay, so it's a song about your love for nature.
No.
Okay, it's a song about your new style.
No, it's the worst. It's the worst hints.
I mean, we're going all downhill.
My fans are notoriously bad with hints. I tell them that. They're the worst with hints.
Are they bad with hints, or are you bad at giving hints?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It could be the two, but Taylor Swift's fans, she can literally just there'd be something in the set and they'd notice it. My fans, the worst with hints.
I don't think that we're going to get here, though, because the next one is about your socks.
Definitely not about my socks. No.
Well, I guess we'll just wait and find out what it's about. But a duet, though.
Oh, look, they were telling me, like, I gave them some hints, and these were what they were telling me. I'm just like, you guys are just, no, it's not happening. So they're very loving, and they're very good people, but they're the worst with hints.
When we're talking about your music, I've heard you discuss how Bruce Springsteen is a big influence, but one I want to understand a bit more is Eminem and D12.
Oh my God, I used to love that. And I think, okay, so for instance, I'm a big Bruce Springsteen fan, but really a sort of like a fake one in a way, because I just really love Dancing in the Dark. And I love it songwriting structure-wise. And there's so many different ways you can write songs. And for me, what I gravitated towards was like little scenes. I like how in that song, he talks about how he's walking around his room, his radio's on, he checks his hair in the mirror. And it's so simple. And with Be Alright, I kind of use that technique. I'm writing about, I look up from the ground to see you're sad. I'm describing scenes. I really loved that song. It taught me so much in songwriting. And then Eminem, I just used to listen to him with my brother in D12 growing up. And you sort of hear a little bit of those influences in Be Alright as well, and the sort of rappy, it's not rappy, it's like spoken word style. And I use that, and I have a song called Hurtless where I did that again. Sometimes when I'm writing, because I like those songs, you know, there's with song structures, with verses, they're usually very much like melodic and the same. But with Be Alright, for instance, it was like writing the words and then going, the producer's like pushing record, and then how do I make those words fit into the song? And so it's this weird puzzle of things you could never really, you know, I've tried to do it again a couple times and sometimes it's awful, but sometimes that spoken word flow thing that not a lot of people do, I think it can really work, and it's made my sound a little bit different, I think, and it's, because it's hard to be different in the singer-songwriter world. It's like guitar, piano, voice. How do you have your own thing? So that's for me one of the things that I've thought about, is I think about it and go, that's my point of difference a little bit as well.
Yeah.
So
well, it also ties back to what we talked about earlier, just being real and
Yeah.
you know, giving these honest songs. So you have a night off from tour, you're going out for karaoke. What Eminem song are you gonna cover?
Oh my God. Oh, that's a tough one. The one that gets in my head right now is I'm not afraid. I'll make a stand. Oh, no. Lose Yourself. 100%.
Yeah.
Mom Spaghetti. Let's go.
That's how you're gonna get the crowd going, for sure.
Let's go. 100%. No, it has to be that. Just the intro to that is just incredible. Yeah.
Dean Lewis, it was such a pleasure catching up with you. Best of luck on tour, and I can't wait to hear the new song that definitely isn't about your socks.
Yeah, thank you. And great interview. Really appreciate it.